Welcome to the campfire. I'm glad you found your way. I wasn't getting very far in my search. I had just about given up and given in to the idea of giving my neighbors a visit when a knock sounded at the door. The thump, thump, thump brought me swinging around toward the door. "Hello?" I called out, voice more solid than I felt. "Yep," came an answer from the door. I approached the door cautiously, peering out to the window next to it. There was a tall, heavy-set man in a tan shirt and cowboy hat standing at my door, and he was carrying a rifle. I didn't know what he wanted, but given the firearm, it couldn't be good. "What?" I stuttered. What's going on? Can I help you with something?" I asked, voice cracking. "I've got something for you," the man said almost jovially as he nodded toward the door. "Why don't you open up so I can give it to you?" Crap. This guy's going to kill me. "What is it?" I asked, almost automatically. I don't even know why I asked. I hadn't planned on it. "It's a phone. At least, I think it's yours," he said in a strange, almost suspicious tone. "Oh," I said as I pulled the door open. The man had straight, graying hair that stuck out from his cowboy hat, a tan shirt with blue jeans, and cowboy boots. He carried the rifle like he didn't go anywhere without it, as casually as a woman carries a purse. His gaze was hard as he glowered at me. "You really should be more careful with your things. It's pretty busted up. Not a surprise, considering where I found it," he said as he pulled the phone from his back pocket. "I'm assuming this is yours. I've seen you coming and going. You're the only one around here young enough to be carrying one of these, I think." I held out my hand to receive the phone. "Yeah, I don't know how it got away from me. Where did you find it?" I asked as he placed the phone in my outstretched hand. "Funny thing," he said as he grabbed my wrist hard, a vice grip that threatened to never let go. I pulled back against him, but his grip was solid, and his stance was sure. He didn't even struggle under my wrenching. It was next to one of my young goats. Beautiful kid, too. It takes a monster to do a thing so terrible, like what happened to that poor little Billy. It was just a kid. "What?" I asked, confused, trying to wrench my arm from his hand. "What do you mean? What happened to the goat?" "This is your phone, isn't it?" the man asked as he released my wrist and took a step back. I looked down at the phone. The screen was shattered into a million pieces. Tiny rocks and bits of grass stuck in between the broken glass. It was the same shape, the same model, so I flipped the phone. My sticker was there. It was a Spitfire sticker, a silhouette of a flame with a face on it. The one I had chosen was the one with the Jason mask, a white hockey goalie's face mask with blood splatters all over it. "Yeah, Spitfire. This is mine," I said, lowering my head. "Kind of looks like the guy from those movies. The hockey player, wasn't it? I never saw them, but I do believe he was some sort of slasher," the man said, furrowing his brow. "Yeah, Jason," I replied softly. "You some kind of slasher, son?" "No, I'm not," I answered, raising my gaze to meet his. I wanted him to believe me. I needed him to believe me. More than that, though, I didn't want to get shot. He leveled his head and nodded slowly. "Tell me, where were you last night?" "I didn't go to work Friday. I missed work to catch up on some sleep." He gave me an incredulous look. Disgust, I thought, mouth turning up at the corner and eyes squinting away from me. "Missed work for sleep?" he noted, shaking his head. "So, where were you last night?" "Normally, I get off of work around 5, so I worked out at 6, did some light reading, made dinner, had some juice, then went to bed around 9 or 10, I suppose. I like to stick to a routine during the week. Keeps me centered, you know? I tried to keep my hand from shaking as I eyed the barrel of the rifle. Boy, that centering ain't doing you a lick of good. Today's Sunday, the Lord's Day. That's why I've come to your door so late. Wanted to wait until after church. Calm down before I came over. I eyed the rifle suspiciously, I'm glad you did. You want to see where I found it? He asked, eyes measuring me, weighing my response. I stammered again. I didn't want to go, but I didn't know how it would seem to this old rancher if I didn't. After all, I am telling him I was never there. Wouldn't I want to see where my phone was found? See if I can find out how it got there in the first place? Yeah, I suppose I should. Let's do it. We made our way down the gravel lane, then up around a small hill on the road. Then we cut across to an area where a creek ran through the pasture. Trees lined the creek bed. It was beautiful, serene, and gore-filled. Blood splattered the ground, and the trees barked as we approached the scene. I covered my mouth and slowed my approach as I saw it. There lay a mess of fur and entrails nearby, but I couldn't look directly at it. It made my stomach twist and turn. Broken bones protruded from its distorted form. The old man remarked as he continued toward the mess. No stomach for it? He asked, though even he averted his gaze at the worst of it. I have never been good with blood, I admitted as I turned away from the mess. Where did you find the phone? I asked, searching around. Just there. He pointed at a patch of grass near a large rock. Bits of the screen sparkled in the grass. I see. Nearby was a patch of soft dirt that held prints. What are these tracks? The rancher sauntered over. Yeah, I saw those. Some strange tracks, human-looking mostly, but the strange designs. I'm not so sure what to make of them. Man made them, that's for sure. But unless his feet are carved up something fierce, then there's something else going on. He eyed me suspiciously and took a step back, holding his rifle in both hands. Take off your shoes. Put your foot in that track. Let's see how it fits. I took a deep breath. All right, I said, trying to think of what to do if it fits. The track plainly showed toes, a heel, and an absence of a print where the arch should be. But there was also some strange swirling designs on the heel. I sat on a nearby rock and unlaced my shoes and held them in my hand. I walked to the track and placed my foot inside it. My foot was a little narrower and shorter than the track. That's rather close, son. Let me see the bottom of your foot. I lifted my foot and let out a sigh. It was smooth. No sign of the strange markings anywhere on them. Still, the markings looked familiar. I felt like I had seen those strange swirls somewhere. But where? All right. Well, I don't know what's going on, but if I see you around my goats, you won't be getting a warm and welcome talk like today. I understand, I said as I turned and began to walk back toward the house. The strange pattern tickled my memory. I couldn't recall where I had seen it, but I was sure I had. As I walked, my mind raced. I needed to know what was going on. Had I truly lost a whole day? I pulled my phone out, trying to wake it from its shattered slumber, but the screen wouldn't brighten. The screen was obliterated, like someone had taken a hammer to it, or perhaps the butt of a rifle. Had he taken my phone in the night and planted it there? Are you her son? The question rang out from behind. I swung around and shook my head. Whose son? Anne, the little girl that used to live in that house there. You'd be about the right age. Yeah, she's my mom, I answered, letting out a sigh. I'm sorry to hear of her passing, the man started. Cast your cares on him. He's the only one strong enough to take 'em all. Who? I called back, eager to get back to the house and out of range of the rifle. The good Lord, he said with a solemn expression. I did my best to give him a polite nod as I turned from the crazy, gun-wielding, preachy rancher. I returned to the house, closing and locking the door behind me. I went to the mirror and examined myself. Clean clothes, hair still done just right, but eyes a little darker than I remembered from this morning. Almost their normal tone of brown. That was good at least. Maybe they hadn't been different this morning after all. I was feeling a little better, but it seemed like every answer I got came with more questions as well. At least now I knew what day it was. Sunday. So, I had slept for at least 36 hours. Not surprising given how well I felt after waking up. But Now there's a strange symbol on a footprint near a murdered goat. My phone left broken near its body. There's a preaching, gun-toting rancher who is sure I killed his goat, who also apparently knew my mother. And on top of it all, I lost a day in the mix. So, instead of having 2 full days to figure this out before work, I only have today. To be continued? The choice is up to you. What do you think is going on with Johnathan? Where do you want the story to go? Tell us what you think should happen, and you could be hearing your ideas next. Leave it in the comment section below.